episode 7 of 4 Life. And hey, I'm Mo. But listen, if you're new to the channel, turn on your notifications, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you can get something every time I drop. And if you're a returning watcher, thanks for watching. But as you remember last week, 50 Cent, aka Cash, has joined the show, so it's about to be very exciting moving forward. If you watched me before, you know I'm not going to hold you up. So let's jump right into this. Episode 7, 4 Life. So right off the bat, Mr. Aaron Wallace is over here practicing with his boy over what he's going to say in the court case that's coming up against Angelo Torres. If you remember, Angelo Torres was his partner that ran the club, but didn't go to jail for the crimes that were committed, for the drugs that were being sold, because it turns out that he is a snitch. And last week we seen that his information was withheld from Aaron in his court case, so he couldn't cross-examine, his partner Torres. The reason that this is such a big deal to his case is he's been working for the feds, so he was working for the feds the whole time. So they already knew exactly what he was going to do to set up Aaron. He's a paid informant. This is his full-time job. Like, you're paying me to go in here. I'm already going to tell you there's going to be drugs in here. Even if it's not Aaron's, I'm going to tell you there's drugs in here. A lot of it, a lot of money. It's getting moved through the club. And now I'm profiting a little bit off of it. They're my drugs. But what we're going to do is we're going to place this all on Aaron so the feds can get a bigger deal. Not a deal, but as far as a bigger bust, a bigger name that they can lock up, which will be Aaron. So he's practicing over what he's going to do. This is going to be very key because he's supposed to have that court date where he cross-examines Angelo this episode. So let's see how that turns out for him. So the next thing is he sends an urgent message out to Marie, his wife, and tells her, hey, you need to come up to the prison right now. I need to talk to you. So she's like, you sent the text message. Why you ain't called? So he's pretty much avoiding what really happened to his cell phone. He just tells her it's a long story, but if you know, he had to give the phone up to Cassius last week. So pretty much he doesn't have no more phone, no nothing. It's just, hey, I'll hit you up when I hit you up. But pretty much what he brought her in for is to tell her, like, all right, I need any dirt that you can find on Angelo. What you need to do is, and I don't know if it's going to work or not, but could you ask Darius? So the thing about him saying, can you ask Darius is his boy, but Darius was also at the club. So Darius knows a guy named Mike that was friends with Angelo. So what he's saying is go to him and see if he knows that Angelo was a snitch. And ask Mike, does he have any dirt for anything else that he done? She's like, all right, I can try. I can ask Darius. But if Darius doesn't go, I'm going to go. So when she goes home and she tells Darius about this, he's like, I don't know about that. And she's trying to convince him, like, hey, you two were friends since kids. Like, you need to come with me. But if not, I'm going to go. I'm going to go question him myself. And we all know what happened at the end of last week. Pretty much, Cassius sent his goons to Frank's house, which is the head CEO, the captain. And they stuck up his wife and his dad and was pretty much like, hey, Cassius runs this now. Everything you do goes to Cassius. And it's ridiculous because Cassius runs everything. He runs the cell phone. He has a cell phone and he runs the phone booth. So no one can use the phones unless he tells them. And so pretty much the black CEO was like, hey, yeah, man, it's crazy. He been here for a week and he already runs the jail. Like, Cassius is at the top. He's the prime, like, everybody wants to be Cassius now because he came in and within a week, he took over Wild Bill's operation, which the superintendent just spoke about that, saying the drug level of overdoses has gone down. Everybody's relapsing, which means that's a good thing. There's no drugs coming in. And they're pretty much like, yeah, it's been 2 weeks. But in prison time, we know 2 weeks isn't enough time. So they've been watching the captain and make sure he wasn't bringing in any more drugs. But the drugs are about to start rolling back in, but it's going to Cassius now. He runs all of it. Like, there's no way around it. Right now, Cassius is the top dog. He already got all the goons with him. And Wild Bill's like, Wild Bill was here. Cassius came in and took Wild Bill down. I don't know if it's going to be an all-out war or what, but it's crazy. Once they get to Mike's house, Marie and Darius, they get to Mike's house and they start asking him, hey, we need you to help Aaron out. He's appealing this case. And he's like, I ain't no snitch. I ain't taking no stand. I already said all the information I needed. They're pretty much like, hey, man, you knew Angelo longer than all of us. So what did you know? Did you know anything about him being a snitch? And he was like, I didn't know about him being a snitch until after the case. We didn't get to talk. They kept us in different rooms the whole time the case was going on. So we never got to collaborate or corroborate a story, you know what I'm saying? Come up with a story together to tell. It was just my story and then whatever he had. But Darius is like, man, if you get any information on him, man, can you let us know? Because it would help out Aaron. He's like, man, I ain't got no information. I can't help you with this. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, that's out of my. I ain't no snitch, man. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I'm good. Hey, I wish the best for Aaron, but hey, I ain't got nothing to do with it. So then they go back to Frank's house, and Frank's dad comes in there like, hey, bruh, Frank, why is your hand shaking? Frank's in the mirror trying to shave, his hand shaking. He doesn't ask him why it's shaking, but he's just like, hey, bro, you need to get this together. I did 30 years as a CEO, and I never put myself in a situation like this. Your wife is downstairs. She's been crying, it looks like all day, nonstop. You need to fix this. And Frank is like, hey, Dad, I got it, man. Like, first of all, you're too old to be talking to your dad like that. Just say, all right, I'll take care of it, or I messed up. But anyway, he tells his favorite CEO, the black guy, hey, go in there and tell Wild Bill crew, hey, lay low for a second, man. We don't need to be moving no drugs. Everybody's looking at us, and we need to sort some stuff out with Cassius. And the big henchman for Wild Bill is like, man, you think we don't know this, man? Like, we live here. We know what's going on in the prison, man. Chill. We'll take care of it on our end also. So the case that Aaron is taking on this week is for an inmate named Nathan. So what's happening here is Nathan, his wife is dying of cancer. So what he did was he filled out the paperwork to be able to get married to his wife before she passes. Now, it got signed by the superintendent, but the board, they denied it. The reason they denied him being able to get married is because they said he's an inmate for over 10 years and he had a violent incident with somebody else while in prison. So for this reason, he can't get married. So Aaron is like, well, you know what? I'm going to take your case because what they're doing is wrong and you haven't been in any trouble since then. And Nathan's like, all right, cool, thanks. When Aaron walked in on him, he was recording messages to send to his fiance because they won't let him marry him. So until the court case go through, and he's pretty much like, yeah, I've been doing this the last couple of weeks, just sending her messages of everything I think of her and what's been going on, like how's my life been. And he just been sending it to her because that, like, she's about to pass and he really wants to marry her. So hopefully Aaron can get this case overturned and he can get married. Sophia and her girlfriend, they're having an argument because earlier in the episode, their son, he went viral pretty much. Him and 3 other kids, they were in the store and they robbed some stuff. They took some clothes and ran out, and they had to meet with the principal. And the principal was pretty much like, hey man, this video went viral and it's messing up, you know, with the image of the school and the image of the parents. So Sophie, she's the superintendent of the prison and her girlfriend is a DA. And it's like, hey, your parents, they're too high level, they're too prestige for you to be doing this stuff. And it's pretty much embarrassing. So they pretty much cover, since she's a DA, she comes up with a statement for her son and says, hey, he was hanging with some kids that were older and thought they were cool. And he was just easily influenced, but he apologizes for it. So pretty much she knows how to cover up this stuff, and Sophia doesn't like that. She's like, he needs to take responsibility for what he's done. You know what I'm saying? The kid, Jonathan, got suspended for a month. And Sophia's telling the girlfriend, like, hey, look, if he was a young black kid, he would be going to juvenile for this. He needs to own up to his responsibilities and take accountability for all the actions he's done. And she's pretty much like, he's 12 years old. He's supposed to be dumb. And then Sophia starts going into knowing that the DA can always get him off. He's just going to be reckless for the rest of his life. So they have a little altercation in between the two, but I don't know how they're going to solve this because Sophie is like, hey, don't use any of your powers. Just let him be suspended for a month. Aaron goes into Sophie's office and he's pretty much telling her, like, all right, look, I'm taking on Nathan's case. I know you approved it, but what I want to do is I want to subpoena you and put you on trial. So this will help your case also in showing how the board is going behind your back. When you make up a decision for your prison, the board is going behind your back and they're pretty much doing their own thing. So what I'm gonna do is put you on trial. I'm gonna question you about approving Nathan's case to get married. And this is gonna show that Nathan not only needs to be married, but it shows that the board is doing crooked things behind your back. So Sophia, she's like, that's a good idea. But the only thing about this is, you gotta make me look real bad. You gotta go at me like I'm not your friend, like you don't know me. This is just going to build up the case to show, one, that they don't have that close relationship like people think that they have, and two, that the board is really doing the messed up things. This is also going to push her being able to have more leeway, more freedom in the prison, which is what they initially were trying to do. If you remember all the way back to episode 1 and 2, that's what she's trying to do, get freedom within the prison, where she can just run the prison how she feels within her heart to run it. You know what I'm saying? And plus, they found out that Aaron is suing the prison board. So this is going to work out for both sides. Aaron's suing the prison board so he can win his thing. This is also giving her an opportunity to go against the prison board, but still showing that she's part of the prison. But I approved everything, but the prison board, they changed it. So this is a win-win for both if the judge overturns it and lets Nathan go ahead. Hey, exactly as predicted. So once they get the court, Aaron's pretty much just laying it on Sophia. Like, hey, so you signed this paper, right? Saying that he could get married. And she's like, yeah, that's what signing means, approved. So he's like, all right. So you mean to tell me that the board went behind you and denied it? She's like, yeah. He's like, why is that? Well, he was a prisoner and he had a violent crime for over 10 years. So okay, that's nice, but Aaron did his homework like he always does, so he brings up another inmate like, hey, this one was signed, and he also committed a crime while he was in prison, but he still got approved to get married. Did you know before you, there was several other inmates that were married with the prior superintendent? And she's like, no, I wasn't aware of that. I don't know the numbers or how many people actually were approved to get married. And he's just like, well, look, when you sign this, you can't tell the difference between this inmate and their crime versus their crime. So what is the difference? What is the policy? What is the actual standards of inmates getting married while they're in jail? Can you answer that? And she's like, I don't have the policy or the standards for that. You'd have to ask the board. All I can do is approve it, and it goes to the board. See, what this does is, like I said earlier, it's going to make her still look good, but it's showing that the board still has too much control over the prison. If the superintendent thinks that an inmate should be awarded something or be able to do something, then the superintendent is there. They need to be the one that signs off for it. It doesn't need to go to a board. It needs to stop right here, and that's it. But what this does is really helps Aaron in his case to help Nathan be able to marry his wife before she passes. Aaron that's a smooth dude, man. He know what he's doing. So here goes Officer Frank, Captain Frank, trying to say that he's going to handle some things with Cassius. Well, they pull Cassius out and they put him on the yard by himself. It's the middle of the night. Him and his number one CO, they take him outside and they pretty much like, hey, that was a bold move that you did, bringing those goons to my house. But look, we ain't gonna put up with that. So what we're gonna do here is, you're gonna make everything even out here. You're gonna make it so that you can get your money in here, we can get ours, and everything's good while Bill can get his operation going. And that's how it's gonna work. And Cassius is pretty much, we already know he's tough, and he's like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna make it so that you can get some money too. But it's not gonna be like how it used to be. You know what I'm saying? Cassius is gonna be making the most money. And pretty much they're like, this is it. Like, you're going to make it even for us or we're going to have a lot of problems in here. So they get him up and they tell Cassius, hey, go back to your slave inmate. This is the number one goon CEO. And Cassius is like, yeah, all right, house slave. Because pretty much he's like, hey, you working for Captain Frank, you might as well work for me. Like, you over here working for this dude when you could be getting some real money with me. I mean, you'd have a little beef with your boss, but hey, you can still get a lot of money. Cassius ain't playing around with these fools. So the date of Aaron's court case comes up where he gets to cross-examine Angelo. They get there, and they end up sitting here for 30, 40 minutes. There's no telling how long they were in there, but pretty much they're waiting for Angelo to show up so he can cross-examine Angelo, finally put him on the stand and ask him the question that he wanted to ask. It turns out Angelo doesn't show up. And then the DA's like, well, you know, Angelo, he didn't show up. We just got information. He may have fled the country. We can't find him anywhere. And this really makes Aaron super mad. Aaron's like, hey, nah, this is just the DA trying not to get him on the stand, so I can't question him about their work and what's actually happened here. And the DA's like, nah, we don't know what happened to him. You know, he can't be here today. We're sorry. Like, and the judge is like, hey, well, Aaron, you can't do anything. We don't know where he is. There's nothing we can do about it. He's not here. Like, it's over. So Aaron's just super mad. And earlier in the episode, Aaron's mentor, the older guy that can't teach, he can't practice law at the moment because he's kind of suspended. But he gave him information, was saying, hey, look, we know that Angelo has been snitching for 5 years. And it turns out that in his other cases, it's the same exact story of how yours was. So this was going to work in Aaron's favor by showing the court that Angelo does the same thing. They put him somewhere, he works there, he moves drugs, and then he just tells on who it is. And it's the same exact story each and every time. And the friend Mike also told Darius the same information. Like, Angelo's been telling on people for years. So Aaron really needed this information. He needed him to be there today to help his case, but he's not there. So it was just another wasted court day for Aaron, man. So it turns out Nathan's case got overturned. So he got to actually marry his fiance, become the husband to her before she passes. She gets all of his messages and everything. I mean, you know, it's got to be a happy ending. So he actually gets to go on a conjugal visit. I don't think they actually did anything because, you know, she has cancer, but he got to at least lay with her one more time, you know, before she passes, and he has to go back to prison. This is really what Sophia wanted, like, to be able to give conjugal visits to, you know, saying to inmates, to their wives and everything, especially the ones that have been in there for a while. So Aaron actually got the case overturned, and they're going to start looking at the board more and giving the superintendent more power so the board can't, you know, saying block things that she feels is right for her inmates. So that's the good thing that happened, man. Nathan got to see his wife before she passed, and it's a beautiful story. Hey, that's episode 7 of For Life. Hey, comment below, what do you think is going to happen between Cassius, the COs, and Wild Bill? So right now it's a little triangle, you know what I'm saying? A little triangle offense. Cassius is stopping all the drugs from coming in and going to Wild Bill. Frank works for Wild Bill, but all the stuff he brings in has to go to Cassius. So comment below what you think is going to happen on episode 8. And also, what did you think about the episode? How do you think that Angelo not being there, you think he's going to pop up soon so he can actually question him? Hey, let me know down below. But like I always say, man, follow me on my social media if you like. It's Mo.J on everything. Hey, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, comment, turn on your notification, share the videos, and hey, we'll be here same time next week. I'm out. Thanks for watching.